Today on Time About the Movies, Liam Neeson versus a pack of gray wolves. What more could you possibly ask for? We've got the gray, and then after that, we really go down to the bottom of the barrel. This is January, after all. We've got Katherine Heigl in the action comedy One for the Money, and Sam Worthington starring in Man on the Ledge, and Glenn Close trying to pretend to be a man to try to win an Academy Award, and Albert Nobbs. We have January 27, 2012 coming your way next, right here on Time About the Movies. What more could you ask for, man? Welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the 4 films that make up January 27th, 2012, and we're starting off with, of course, the biggest new release, that was The Gray. Based off the short story called Ghost Walker, which was written by Ian Mackenzie Jeffers, who actually co-wrote the script with the director Joe Carnahan, who gave us Smoking Aces about 4 years ago. It follows a number of oil men stranded in Alaska after a plane crash who must survive a pack of Canadian gray wolves stalking them during the mercilessly cold weather. And, of course, Liam Neeson's at the forefront, and it's Liam Neeson doing what Liam Neeson does best. This is not the Liam Neeson... not the Liam Neeson that was in between, you know, the Taken movies and the Naked Gun, where he was just making these really lackluster movies that really were devoid of his true talents overall. But, no, this is right in the middle of him just coming off of Taken. I think this might have actually been his first big... Actually, no, I take that back. Unknown came out after Taken did, so... This is definitely a lot better than that movie, no question about it. And Joe Carnahan, I've always liked him as a director. This is another really good movie of his. I mean, it's a movie that just fits right up my alley. It's a slick action movie. It's Liam Neeson kicking ass. It's set in the snow. I've talked about how much I love movies set in the snow time, especially when this is coming out in January. Just good times on that front. And he's beating the crap out of wolves in this movie. He's killing wolves in this film. Like, that's awesome. This movie is just so friggin' awesome on every single level. I mean, it's a movie that doesn't ask you to be anything that deep, even though there are a lot of good elements where there is surprisingly a lot of deep meaning in this. This is a movie that doesn't need that per se. It just needs to be a movie that is just action-packed fun. And yeah, it's a movie that is very thought-provoking, too. It's a film that is surprisingly more in-depth than you would ever give it credit for, and it works because Liam Neeson is 100% game for this. I mean, he knocks it out of the park. He's got a great supporting cast to work around with here. Frank Grillo, Dermot Mulroney, James Badge Dale, and a good director that knows how to direct action like this that's very slick, very cool-looking. It fits right up his alley overall. It's a really solid film, a really engaging action film. One I can't recommend enough. The Gray... Top-notch stuff. Top-notch stuff. Now let's get to the crap. Katherine Heigl is back with another comedy, and that is One for the Money.
Lowlife sold lingerie for 3 years in Newark. You're good to go.
Oh, man.
We got this good cop, bad cop thing going, except with hookers.
Oh, God. She wants to be a badass recovery agent.
I might like his better.
But never.
Closely.
Outsmarted.
Wait, not this in my car. Oh, my God. Is that guy naked?
Fresh air is good for the boys. Based on the wildly popular novel.
Oh, come on.
You know what? Let's keep the wheels.
Nope.
And taking the towel.
You look great, by the way. One for the Money. Rated PG-13. Catch it January 27th.
Or don't. Please, for the love of God, don't. This is based off of the series of books by Janet Ivanovich, who wrote these books about Stephanie Plum. And, if you've ever read those books, this movie is definitely not that in any way, shape, or form. This story revolves around Heigl as Stephanie Plum, who's a broken, unemployed woman who becomes a bail enforcement agent going after a former high school crush who both skipped out on payments and is a murder suspect. She's basically taken the Adam Sandler approach to making movies, taking something that is completely not what she thinks this is, and completely making it into one of her stupid comedies. I mean, this isn't as bad as something like The Ugly Truth or what was another bad one? Killers. Like, this isn't that bad, but it's pretty bad. And you've got a cast overall that also includes Jason O'Mara, Debbie Reynolds, John Leguizamo, Sherry Shepard. this feels like a television pilot for this feels like a precursor to the show High Potential, which was just on which is now on TV right now. But even High Potential is much better than this. Much better than this. This, however, is just... This is nothing like the books that this is based off of at all. This film is just so... It's a Katherine Heigl vehicle that she just basically took and just destroyed any of the goodwill that came from those books overall and just gave us this piece of garbage. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible movie. You know, this director is not a bad director. I mean, The Last Song was not that bad of a movie. It was not great, but it was circles around this movie. It runs circles around this piece of garbage. And, yeah, this is the last thing you see Debbie Reynolds in before she died 4 years later. So, what a way to go out in your career, Debbie. Just wow. But, yeah, this movie sucks. This movie is just awful on so many levels. This is the type of movie that lands as perfect for January because you know good and goddamn well that nobody's going to remember this movie by the end of the year. And now, the surprise, people don't remember this movie not too long after it came out. The wildly popular novel. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's like, I hate that advertising. I hate it when advertisers do that with their movies, but let's try to turn the tide a little bit here with a movie that has potential to it. Man on the Ledge.
And everything changes. He has nothing left to lose. How far would you go to take down a man that stole everything from you?
The diamond never left his hand.
He set me up.
Nick, we're in.
Now, he has one last chance
Today, I'm putting it all on the line.
to prove his innocence.
Nick, we got a problem here.
Time is running out with the man on the ledge.
Take him.
Man on a Ledge, rated PG-13, January 27.
I say there's potential because there is a lot of potential with this movie. There's a good idea involved in this film. You have Sam Worthington playing a man who's using an alias staging a suicide attempt and asked to speak to a specific police negotiator played by Elizabeth Banks. He is himself a disgraced police officer who was convicted of a diamond theft and seeks a way to clear his name. His associates try to prove that the diamond was never stolen and that the theft was part of an insurance fraud scam by the diamond's owner, played by Ed Harris. The other cast also includes Jamie Bell, Edward Burns, Anthony Mackie, Genesis Rodriguez. There's a lot of potential here for a good movie. The premise overall is pretty ingenious. There's a really fun idea overall in here. And for the first half of the movie, you feel like it's going in that direction. It's just like, okay, I can ride along with this, but you know what happens with a movie like this. When the first half seems so good, there's no way they could possibly ruin it with the second half, and then second half comes and it just comes across like, okay, now you have completely gone too far with this. The ending of this movie is so fucking stupid. It is one of the most stupidest things I've ever seen in a movie like this, and it just completely takes away everything that this movie was going to have going towards it, and just, like, what were you thinking with this ending? Like, this is one of the stupidest endings for a movie like this that I have ever seen. People are trying in this movie. There's a lot of good talent in this film. Like, there's a lot of people in here that are really trying their best here. The effort is there. But sadly, the execution, the story, the way it ends just completely ruins it. And I think it's because you have people that weren't really well too familiar with this. You got an unknown director in Asger Leff, who I don't know too much about, and then you have a writer in Pablo Fenves, who had only written one other movie before this, which was the 1995 film The Affair, which was, I believe, not the movie I was thinking of. I thought there was a movie called The Affair with Brad Pitt, but no, this is definitely not that. This is a film with Courtney B. Vance. It was an HBO movie, but yeah. If you're going to get somebody who... I mean, this is also the guy, but I should say that this is also the guy that ghost wrote the book, If I Did It. The book about O.J. Simpson, saying that, no, I didn't kill my wife, but if I did, here's how I would have done it, which, yeah, like, stupid ass. Like, that's a stupid move right there to write that. But yeah, this is a guy that wrote that book. He's also ghostwritten a lot of other books about Bernie Mac, Janice Dickinson, David Foster. I mean, this guy's written a ton of stuff, and not really movie-related stuff too. And that's the problem here, because you have him put on this film, and the guy clearly is not meant for film writing. I mean, in the hands of a better writer, I feel like you could have had something here. Like, if you got Inside Man Spike Lee, like if you got him to do a movie that's like Inside Man, I feel like he could have made this movie a whole lot better than it was. But they got people who were pretty much relatively unfamiliar with how to make a decent script overall, and the film just kind of falters because of it. It starts off strong, but then the second half just comes along and completely destroys any of the goodwill it had towards it. A movie that had potential, just didn't finish the job. A mixed opinion, but mostly my thumb is down on this one. Like I'm doing talking about the movies right now. I give this a thumbs down. No, this is just not a good movie. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, and that is Glenn Close trying so desperately for that Academy Award, Albert Nobbs.
She prefers roses. Lilies make her sneeze.
The movie critics have fallen in love with
Such a kind little man.
has now been nominated for 3 Academy Awards and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards,
You're a woman. You won't tell all things.
including Best Actress Glenn Close and Best Supporting Actress Janet McTeer.
I think you are the strangest man I've ever met.
Albert Nobbs, rated R, starts Friday, January 27th.
Like, what do we need to do to get you to stop making these movies, Glenn? You're a far better actress than these really bad movies, because at the beginning of the next decade, she would be involved in Hillbilly Elegy, which was not a good movie, and that also got an Oscar nomination for some stupid reason, but this is Albert Nobbs, and in 19th century Dublin, an eccentric man in the latter part of middle age works as a waiter in Morrison's hotel run by stingy, controlling Marge Baker. Albert works hard and saves his money so that one day he will be able to eke out a better life for himself by running his own business rather than working at the hotel. Beyond his work colleagues, he is all alone in the world. One day, Mrs. Baker hires a man named Hubert Page to paint one of the hotel rooms and forces him to share Albert's bed for the one night he is required to stay to complete the work, much to Albert's horror. Hubert discovers that Albert did not want to share a room with him, but rather than the issue being a problem, Hubert shows Albert that he can follow a slightly different life path than the one he envisioned for himself, one closer to the life that Hubert leads with his wife Kathleen, which includes getting married and having a wife to support him emotionally. Albert's choice of bride is his young, flirtatious co-worker Helen Dawes, who, unknown to Albert, is already in a sexual relationship with brusque, sly Joe Mackins, another co-worker recently arrived from Morrison's. As Albert, Helen, and Joe play their respective game of courtship, Albert must find that what seems to come natural to Hubert might be more difficult for him. So yeah, you can read in there and see a lot of things that are very, very part of the reasons why this movie is not that great. It's mostly because, quite simply and effectively, we've seen this movie done to death before so many times in the past. The movie where, the woman has to be the man or the man has to be the woman. Like, we've seen this done before over and over and over again. And it's just, I'll give the actors credit. They're trying their best. Glenn Close does a pretty good job in here. I can see why she got nominated for this. And if we're being honest, I think Janet McTeer overall is the far better actress in this movie, who's really putting her all into this. And I'm glad that she got a nomination. She got a nomination here. But you also have Mia Wasikowska from Alice in Wonderland, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Pauline Collins, Brenda Fricker, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Brendan Gleeson. So there is a competent cast in here. It's just the script. It's the stuff we've seen done to death before so many times. We've seen the story about somebody trying to be the opposite sex, and it's not worth it unless you have a really good hook to it. Tootsie had a good hook to it. Mrs. Doubtfire had a good hook to it. Yentl had a good hook to it. Excuse me, but this movie just doesn't have anything there. Sorry, I'm having trouble burping there for a second, but I digress. Like I said, there's nothing about this movie that makes it stand out except for the performances. And I think the performances overall are what saved the film barely, but I would never tell anybody, you gotta rush on to see this movie. I just kind of it's just there. There's nothing about it that makes it that spectacular except for the performances. But even then, it's definitely not worth it just for those alone. So yeah, a mixed opinion, but this one I'm leaning a little bit towards positively because of the performances by Close and McTeer. But other than that, that's all I can say about Albert Nobbs. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. And the next time we meet, we take a look at the start of February, Super Bowl weekend, where the New England Patriots face the New York Giants once again for the first time in 4 years. Last time, the Giants were the Giant Killers, quite literally. They stopped the Patriots from a perfect season and won the Super Bowl. And could they do it again? Of course they can, because Eli Manning has clearly superior power over Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But before we got to the big game, there were 3 big new releases that surprisingly were pretty good for the month of February. That's hard to believe. We have Michael B. Jordan in one of his big early film roles, along with Dane DeHaan and Miles. Was Miles Teller in this one, or was that somebody else? That was somebody else. Alex Russell in Chronicle from director Josh Trank. We have Daniel Radcliffe starring in The Woman in Black. We have John Krasinski and Drew Barrymore in Big Miracle, basically Universal's equivalent to Dolphin Tale, which is definitely this is definitely a much better movie than that, and I'll talk more about that, along with the other two movies tomorrow on the show, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me the honor of going ahead and hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the last episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.